Welcome. This video deals with the answer to question 7 of my second global warming quiz. Apologies for not getting around to this sooner, but the sun has been very active and there have been a couple of scientific howlers on YouTube about other subjects that I thought was worthwhile answering before they got too much traction on the internet. Anyway, the links to the quiz questions, the video answers to those questions, as well as the solar videos are listed in the description box below. First, let's remind ourselves what the question was. Question 7. True or false? Oil companies are funding the PR efforts of the primary scientists that support the anthropogenic global warming theory. This question is about who is funding which scientists to say what about global warming. The contention has been voiced by some recently that the supporters of anthropogenic global warming theory are funded by the energy industries to support cap and trade or carbon taxes because they will make more money as a result. We know that these multinational companies have corrupted our political process, but are they funding scientists to make stuff up for or against global warming? Given that they have to disclose who they give their money to, especially if they don't want to pay any taxes on their usury profits, you would think that it would be easy to establish the truth. But it isn't. In fact, following the money is like playing a giant shell game. You might say a shell oil game. Sorry, I couldn't resist the pun.
To show you a very ancient game, it's called the pea and shell game. Now this is a game you should never play, and today I'm going to show you why. I'm going to show you exactly how they play this game on the streets.
What happens is these companies join together in a bunch of funding coalitions and build up a huge war chest. You still got your eye on where the pea is?
It's played just like this. They say it's a little game of hanky-poo. There's 2 for me, there's 1 for you. Hey diddle diddle, it's the one in the middle. That's what they always say. They move them around just like this, then they ask you to guess where the little green pea might be. Now some people might guess this one and others might guess this one. You'd be incorrect. It's always where you least suspect it.
They then fund think tanks with names like Friends of Science, the George C. Marshall Institute, the Fraser Institute, the Committee for a Constructive Tomorrow, and many other environmental sounding committees and institutes and forums. Still sure you know where the pea is?
Now, sometimes this game is played with just one hand, negating the use of the other hand. Once again, the pea is placed under the center shell. Doesn't matter where I move those shells, that pea stays right where I put it. Now, if you believe that, I have a bridge somewhere that I'd like to sell you. Look very carefully. It's not here. And now I'm going to give you a 50-50 chance, a proposition bet on these two. Point to 1 if you'd like. Some people would pick this one. Some people would be picking this one. They'd be incorrect because, well, it's always where you least suspect.
These institutes then fund each other for various tasks such as writing white papers, reports, briefing notes for our representatives, testifying to Congress and lobbying, and so on. You must know where the pea is, surely.
Now in the morning I practice cheating like this with my cereal and coffee. What I do is I practice showing that there's actually a pea under all of the shells.
These think tanks then appoint scientists to their boards, hire them as staff, give them grants, or pay them to do these tasks. The trick is that it's the same old people over and over again. A veritable who's who of the so-called climate deniers. Go to these think tank websites and see for yourself who's on their board, who they have as their staff, or who wrote their reports on global warming. But magic tricks like this are more about what you don't see rather than what you do see.
Or I can show you that there's no peas under any of the shells.
What you will not see is any of this money going to any of the prominent anthropogenic global warming scientists, or any of the real scientific organizations that have endorsed the theory. Why should the oil companies and energy industry promote science that will likely lead to a drop in their profits as people are encouraged to use less of their products as they become more expensive? It defies logic. It's almost like magic.
Or there's a pea under this shell, there's a pea under this shell, and of course there's yet 1 more under this shell. And if you look very carefully, you'll see there are no peas under any of the shells, and that, my friends, is the nuts.
So the answer to question 7 is false. These think tanks don't fund anthropogenic global warming supporters. They spend all their money creating phony arguments to confuse the scientifically illiterate into believing there's no such problem as global warming. Keep safe. Bye for now.